So obviously, if you find a sponsor that you think that would be helpful, reach out to them. If you as a leader don't want to, make one of your members do it. Business team is always looking for something to do. We can do that. If there's something specific that we're looking for and you guys don't have time to find a sponsor, the business team can also do that. So put something in the business channel, reach out to either Rachel or I, and we can try and find that. It's always good to have something to do since our presentations aren't till the end of the year. The other thing I'm going to note is if you start communicating with a sponsor now and like you're going to be graduating this year, make sure you find somebody when you graduate that can take over communicating with that sponsor, because from my understanding, we've lost several sponsors that way because we just didn't transfer over communication. The other thing too is if you're not really sure how to write an email to a sponsor, we don't have a template in Google Drive yet, but we're going to get one in there. And then you can send out mass emails. Like Amir said, he does that. He changes the name of the sponsor. And that's an easy way to reach out to multiple at once. In terms of updating the sponsors document, I don't know if you've seen it. It's in the Google Drive under team and then sponsors. This I don't think has been updated in a while, but I don't. Amir would probably know more about that.
Yeah, so I can just talk kind of briefly to this. So we were looking at it the other day, a couple of us in here, and there's just, Cassie, if you scroll all the way to the right, there's a lot of old leaders listed here. So almost every sub-team, if not every sub-team, has a sponsor that either is or has been a sponsor in the past. So kind of in the coming weeks and before school starts, this doesn't take very long, and I want everyone to go through this sponsor list and update the person of contact. And if you know that they're still a current sponsor, make sure that you reach out to them at some point. It doesn't have to be like right away, but the sooner the better, obviously. Reach out to them and maintain contact, because they're not going to be reaching out to us most likely. So update the sponsor. If you don't know if it's your sponsor, you can talk to either your tech directors or myself. Just go through the entire list, because I think like 90% of this is old members. And then additionally, what I will say is that if they're no longer a sponsor and you verified that they're no longer a sponsor, I would not, or add them to the previous sponsors, which is the next tab. Like switch them over from active to previous. And this tab has lots of sponsors that, if you're looking for like one of your 3 sponsors that you're going to find in the year, this is a really good place to look, because they have been willing in the past to sponsor our team. And it's definitely components that we've used in the past and we probably still use. So, that's kind of all I really have to say on it. In the next couple of weeks, we're probably going to check in again at the next all team and make sure that it's been completely updated, or all leader.
Can we add something to track that, please?
Yeah.
And then also, like, we need to roll into a system of like tracking what we need to like do for them, because that's not captured in the sheet and it needs to be. Also, I'm almost of the mind like, you like any sponsor that it's like if the lead you're taking over for like that is your sponsor, you should just recontact them no matter what, including like previous sponsors. Like last year we did this where we just like reached out to everybody again.
Yeah.
And it's good to just reconnect, but like we should actively track it and not just be like, let's do it.
Yeah, I think yeah, those are all like things we should definitely do. I think we should add a column in here on like reached out this year, and you can check it off. And hopefully by the start of this year, we have them all checked off. And then in Monday, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's a leaders task tab, and we're going to start tracking some things like this that kind of apply to everyone. So I'll start a subtask for everyone to go through their sponsors, and then you can make comments and things like that, I think, as well. I think that'll be the easiest way to track whether we've all gone through it or not.
Okay.
Yep.
Where is the spreadsheet located?
This is in sponsors, and then it's in sponsors, and then it's WR sponsors, I think.
Where is sponsors?
Under team and then sponsors. I'm dropping the link now.
It would be nice if we could, like, for the reconnecting, and just reaching out for the first time. Sometimes it's nice to like give sponsors a little update on what the year, like what how the last year went for the teams. Like, this is something that like I don't know, maybe unofficially did in the past, but it would be nice if like maybe someone wants to, like, in that template email, wants to write like a paragraph for each comp and just like this is how it went. This is what the our results were. These are like maybe some struggles we had. And this is what we're planning for the future.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times sponsors will come back to us like, a years later and be like, oh, like we sponsored you, but we had like no communication after we gave you something, and then they're just like not really inclined to give you stuff again because they don't know or care or feel invested. So if we can reach out and update, it's like, hey, like this is how our last year went. We're moving into this season, and we would love to continue your support. Something
Yeah.
like that.
I almost think it would be worth it to have a continuing sponsor email template and a new sponsor email template, so that like everyone can just like either Cassie or I, like we could write one, and like for the continuing one, like Isaac said, that'd be really good to have like a year recap.
I think it would also potentially be good to have a one that everyone's not required, but they should send out at the end of fall semester and stuff as well. That they can send out to all their sponsors, be like, this is what we did this semester, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not just like once a year, it's like at least twice a year we are sending a quote unquote connection email versus a give us money email, right? And so that could be huge. And also you could also end up like, and then these are some things that we're trying to find or looking into to use, and then they might be like, oh, here we have this, or like, can we help with this struggle you're having, etc.
We could do that in conjunction with sending out a unveiling invitation. Do you think?
I think that would be good. I think it actually makes sense to have one after fall, after spring, and after comp, because then you have one after your design, one after your testing, and one after your events, and then people would actually feel invested because they would actually see quote unquote the process. So
yeah. Cool. Does anyone have any questions on this sponsor list? Obviously, like there's a couple of tabs other than just your name that you need to flesh out, like logo on website. Make sure that it is actually there. If they're active, and if they're not active, reach out to Cassie. And also Cassie, probably just check in on this after we've done this as well. If we don't have active sponsors, and we're not going to get them back or something like that, don't want to have not accurate logos on website.
I think we should also highlight everything. Since this document's like entirely boot, we just highlight everything in red or something like that. And as people go through, you unhighlight your cell.
Yeah.
Or maybe you do it yellow with reached out, and then you can either, if you get a response, then it's white of like, we have a sponsor, or they might, if they say, we don't want to sponsor you, then you move them to previous sponsors. So that way we actually can see who has gone through and when it's done.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Cassie, if you want to set up those color coordinations, because obviously we just set it now. You can choose whatever colors you want and just send it out to us so that we know which colors to do what for. But you can make the whole sheet look red right now or something like that.
I can do that.
Dope as a rope. Red might be like way too aggressive. Just
Make it like a pale red.
Yeah.
Paint bucket. Just do the paint bucket.
There we go.
Yeah, it's not bad.
We also need to, like, someone should follow up with the sponsors that are Glenn contact,
Yes.
and just like poke him on the status of them. A lot of them like may not be like sponsoring this instant. Like they usually have like a set time in the year that they sponsor, and it's usually more towards the end of the year, like the fiscal year, not the school year. So we can like check with him on who he kind of expects to be back out of like the ones that are his contact on this. But someone needs to like communicate.
Tentatively,
Okay.
Cassidy, I'm going to ask if that can be one of your tasks as going into sponsors and stuff like that. You cool with that?
Yep, I can do that.
Sweet.
How do I reach out to Glenn, actually? I've never had to do that.
His email is probably best.
What is his email?
grbauer@wisc.edu. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
You can also just like catch him in the office sometime. Be
Yeah.
like, hey, can we chat for a second?
He'll be
about
in the office
sponsors?
a lot soon here.
Like the rest of us.
Um,
What's the plan for tracking like to-dos for sponsors?
I think like this initial. Oh, like you're saying, like the stuff that they want us to do.
Yeah. And stuff we should be doing, but may not be.
I think putting them in this. So there are a couple. Like I know for Hoffman, we had like the note about like E-car, not C-car, in the notes section of this sheet. I think we could keep doing it in notes or just labeling that column to dos, unless you think that we need a way of like having a reminder. But I think putting it in the notes.
Some are going to be just like we need to do one Instagram post. This one wants a conjoined 2 Instagram and Facebook and like LinkedIn posts.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It should just be a Monday board.
We should just like it can be tracked on Monday or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like
I think I think under leader tasks and like we can have like a sponsors like section of that board, and then just have like whenever a new sponsor wants something done, add it to that board as the sponsor name and the task needed to be done. I think that can be reasonable.
The sponsor name is like the story, and then all the sub items are just
Or what
you need to be done.
Yeah.
We'll want to include things there. Like a lot of times we'll want to like get their okay on the post and shit before we do it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Cool.
Also, I'm just going to jump in here because she just got here. I don't think I officially announced this, but since Cassie and Rachel have basically been working together on all these things, they're going to co-lead this year. So congratulations, Rachel. Yeah. Cool. Go ahead, Cassie. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? I think we've covered the sponsors thing pretty good. This sheet.
Yes. So the other thing that we were possibly thinking of doing was a sponsored shop tour. We already promised this to, I forgot which tiers, but we promised it to some of the tiers already. So it's worth doing something towards the beginning of the year. We were thinking, obviously we'd have to try and find a date on when we could even do something like this, but it was just an idea. I don't know what people's thoughts are on that. So then we're not promising them a shop tour and not giving our sponsors what we promised.
Yeah. So so Cassie and I kind of talked about this when we were talking about this meeting. Like, the idea would be having, like, not all of our sponsors. Obviously, we have a lot of sponsors, but probably, I mean, that could be an option if you guys think it's worth it. But I was under the impression we'd do like our higher tier sponsors, and then Cassie had suggested maybe prospective sponsors as well. But this is like, we're not 100% sure if this is feasible or if it's worthwhile. So we wanted to open it up to discussion on what you guys think.
I think we should just definitely leave it as a higher tier kind of like reward. A lot of people see the tour as like effectively like the best way to recruit from the team because they get to come in person and talk to us and see the cars. And it's pretty common for a lot of those companies to like sponsor and then like, you know, want to do the shop tour for the recruiting purposes. So I think just leaving it as a tier kind of relatively high and above is what we should do, just because we also don't want to just be flooded with like a billion days of shop tours. But also I think it's a good incentive for people to give us money, to be frank. Just like, and that reminds me that like Polaris is coming the first week of school. I think I put something in announcements about that. And then Oshkosh is also coming.
Yeah, Oshkosh is coming. Yeah.
The week after, I believe. Let me check.
Yeah, they're coming to do a mock design review for Baja, and they said they'd want to squeeze in some time to talk to us too.
Yeah, so yeah, Polaris is the first week of school, and Oshkosh is the second. But like those are just the two that we have lined up currently. More people will want to do that, and that should be something like if a sponsor is already in that tier for whatever reason, like we should push to get them to like use their whatever we call them, like their things we do for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like if like whoever reconnects with like Trek, for example, should try to encourage Trek to come on campus and come talk to us for an evening.
So something just to clarify a little bit with this sponsor shop tour as well is the idea that Cassie and I were talking about was having more than one sponsor come in, like all of the like high tier come in one day, or if you don't think that's worth it, we can split.
Yeah, I think we should do that. Definitely not. Like that. Like the when people like spend the big monies, they want to come and just like talk to your engineers and like hopefully recruit people. You don't really want to have like multiple people there trying to do that.
Yeah.
Because like they paid for the experience almost.
Yeah.
I think it might be just a bit much to stack.
Yep.
And honestly, like in the end, there's not that many. Like we don't end up having to do that many. Like we have the two set up. We'll maybe have to do. Like a lot of people just won't want to do it anyway, or just won't care. But I don't think stacking is a great idea. I think it's a bit less personal, and I think we should try and like leave it as a goal for people that like want to pay the money for that recruiting access, and then give it to them.
Sounds good. Trey, you unmuted your mic. You want to say something?
How does Baja do their sponsor nights or whatever? You know?
I think it's pretty similar to what we do. Like they invite them in, and then they come in and meet and greet the team around the cars. Yeah. Like, are you asking like physically how they do them, or
seen
like
them do it before? I assume they're sponsors, and a lot of times it seems like they like to do kind of mock design-ish review things. Like a lot of times I see like sponsored people around Baja, they usually have their posters and stuff out like that, and so and they usually are wearing all the attire, and I think that's something we should try to do, where the people that are giving the tour and everything are setting forth not like, oh hey, we're just chillaxing here, there's a shop, because I know we do that sometimes with people and with friends, or like sometimes even like a random professor or something like stuff like that, but like you should, with this, I think we should be trying to put forward, this is like our team, and also be prepared if they want to ask technical questions and have the posters that we already have set up.
Yeah.
Put them out so they can see it, you know.
look professional.
Yes.
Basically,
That's-
like a practice design review. If we could try to get them, like take advantage if they're there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
If someone wants to rip us apart, that's better to get ripped apart now than later.
and I think they, as a sponsor, they will jump on that too. They'll like that, like especially if it's like they're an expert in that field. I don't think they'll say like, I don't want to talk to you about this. You know, like
And they're trying to recruit, so they get to get a free interview.
yeah.
So what do we
Presentation thing, I just wanted to say we should definitely make sure the shop is cleaned beforehand, especially with the state of it lately. And like a part of that presentation, looking professional, is we just need to have a clutter-free workspace for when they show up.
I think that's just in general. Like it needs to just be clean all the time. It's not necessarily something that can be messy. And I know it's a bit like just tough to say. Easy to say, hard to do. And I'm not there to help currently, so I feel bad about that. But like we'll get it clean as soon as possible. It's not even if I do it on Monday.
So what do we think though about having like prospective sponsors coming in on one day? So like, so they see your shop, they see your car before kind of like the chaos of things start, to try and get them to sponsor us at the very beginning.
All right, sorry. I think that is something that people should use as a tool for sponsors that they think are key. If you think this is going to be a big hitter sponsor or an emergency sponsor, right? Like the ones that bail our asses out and we get the things when we need them or quickly. I think that also is key. I don't think it is something that should be a stock, hey, you want to sponsor the team, here's a shop tour, but it could be something of if someone's on the fence and you want to use it as a bargaining tool, use it. And especially if you don't know when to use it, ask your tech director, ask your team principal, ask your business lead, and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can kind of use this as like a business acquisition, like if they're like exactly what Christian's saying, like if they're answering their emails and they're not exactly sure. Like I had a couple people like that with oven acquisitions. They're like, oh, we don't normally do this. We'll talk to some people. Then then I sent an email back and I was like, these are all the best fits, and I kind of outlined it, like, and obviously not like shoving it down their throat, but like just saying that it's not just purely them giving us a favor. Like there's some stuff that they could get in return, and you could use that as one of the things to be like, if you like, if they're on the fence, be like, if you do suggest it, coming up in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna have shop tours or something like that. And if they say yes, then plan a shop tour. Right. So, yeah.
Okay, so then moving on, I think to fundraisers. I think we've a conversation about sponsors. I know, I think probably our main fundraising event, Amir's been telling us about the car show, so obviously he has more information. We should probably start planning this. But I guess I was also going to open up the floor for this to other potentials and maybe even a plan for when we can start doing these, or even when we can start the first one. And also with the car show, I don't know. I know you're talking about possibly just doing it kind of in engineering, over by engineering hall and everything. I think is kind of what we were discussing earlier. I might be wrong on that. But Cassie and I were going to talk with the Mallards because they have an account at ACE. So they come in all the time. And we thought maybe that could be a potential because then we have a larger parking lot to work with. Otherwise, any other thoughts on that?
I love the car show idea. I think we should really try, probably before doing there's gonna be a lot of effort into putting on our own. I think we should maybe try to just instead, for almost like a dry run, go to the whatever it is, monthly, Madison, just
Cars and
one.
Coffee.
Yeah, and it's super. I think super low impact for us, and it'll give it a bit of a dry run because I think I don't know. Like if it's not going to be a super successful event, like if we're not going to make money, like it's not worth our effort
Yeah.
to plan all this stuff and like get our friends and try and get as many other cool cars there as possible. Like try and see if Glenn wants to bring in the Model
Yeah.
T or whatever, and get KMR involved. Like I think we should I think we should pull it, like try it like on a smaller scale of just us going
Yeah.
first, because I think it could just be a big, like I would hate to like put out so much effort in and then like it just
No
ends up like
turnout.
not really
Yeah.
working, and
Yeah.
then it just kind of like unfortunate. Like I think we should give it a dry run almost,
I think that's a good idea.
and it's
Yeah.
low impact. It's just like maybe clear it with the organizers and then just show up and try and collect money.
Yeah, I almost think I think that going to like Carly Coffee or something would be more successful than running around. Like those people are already car people, you know what I mean? Like they'll be willing.
It's a good point.
Like
It may be equal or better.
yeah.
Yeah. So obviously one of the ones that was just I found out about too late, so I couldn't end up signing up, was the air show and the car and air show that KMR went to. That they said that we could tag along if we were able to sign up, but when I contacted them, they were just like, it's a little bit too late to sign up. So yeah, I think I totally agree with you, Shay. I think there's a potential that, like, if it's a well-established car show that happens regularly, we're probably going to get a better turnout. And honestly, like, we might, if we do it like with the UW and kind of send out a message, we might get a lot of students coming in, but we're not going to get a lot of money coming in. And if we go to an actual car show that all these car guys are around, we'll probably get a lot more donations. So I totally see that. I think we should do a couple car shows. And honestly, even at the car show, we could poll, like, you could ask people, if you're having just a conversation with them, be like, would you be interested in coming to like see all our other university vehicles or something like that? And then that might be on their radar as well if we do decide to start doing our own car show. Yeah.
Well, the club I was in high school actually ran their own car shows. I have a little bit about this, but what they did, and I know you guys are mainly talking about donations, but the main profit they got was from the registration fee. So you charge like a $5-10 registration fee, and that's where your profits are coming from. And then you do trophies and judging, and that does take a lot of work. It would be really cool, and that's something that could be a multi-year thing if we decided to do that. But I think that's where the profits come from, not really from donations, I guess, from my experience.
So there's a lot of local, like, smaller car show, not necessarily meets, but shows, they'll have like a suggested donation that's like not necessarily a registration fee, but like pretty much is as you're in line. There's like people with buckets like, hey, $10 recommended donation, and so everyone just like throws that in.
Yeah, we just have a bucket that says donate like $5 to $20.
Maybe more.
I would just like don't put money on it. Just be like,
Donate $5
please donate $100. All the money.
Yeah, no, you have a box that's like this little gray box that says donate 5 to 20, and then you just have another box that's a gold sparkly one that says donate 1,000 plus.
Donation required. We don't tell you how much.
Yeah.
We can ask them to Venmo us instead of doing cash, because they might be more likely to give us a higher donation if it's digital.
I think
the hard cash.
I think if we go to these car shows, like if it's anything like car shows I've been to, the old guys are not going to want to use Venmo.
No.
I mean, we might as well have it as an option, though. Yeah.
Yeah, you just put it
I feel like we're kind of drifting here.
Yeah.
Sounds like we should set up a car show, try to go to someone else's car show, and then we should do that. I don't think there's anything else needs to be discussed on this idea besides that. Cool. There's other ideas then? Is that the next phase?
Yep, just opening up the floor on I don't think I've seen like the list that we made, but just anything else that people were thinking.
I think a few easy ways to make money. I think that is something we also should look at. Is the easiest ways are, we have halfway through the semester, we have like our like Snapchat bingo thing. People do this thing all the time to raise money for their clubs, where you have like donate $1, $5, or whatever, all the way up to like $20, and if everyone posts it, we'll all get some money, and then hopefully, we'll come out with $500-$600, which may not be a lot, but the amount of effort is like zero.
And Christian will sing as a reward.
Yeah, I'll do that as well. And then beyond that, I think there's also, you can partner with restaurants where you basically, they'll give you a part of the profits and you make it like your night. They do it with like high school sporting events all the time. Again, very, very low effort. Therefore, I think it might be worth looking into.
Also, we have all of these great members that we can just like throw at that. Like, I don't know how many people is necessary, but
yeah,
I feel like we have a lot of people.
Also, our formula email was reached out to by UW Concessions, that we can sign up to do concessions as well. So if we can get people to do that, that's another option. I think generally, without diving too deep into all these smaller things that we could do, I think a good way that I think we can move forward with this is that the car show is going to be our big event, at least for the next couple of months. We might have another big event come up, but then kind of every month, I think we should aim for like 3 or something smaller fundraisers.
3? Bro, how much free time do you think we have? Dude, that's like almost every week.
I mean, like I'm saying,
Almost every
smaller
week.
as in like posting a Snapchat bingo does not take a lot of effort.
Yeah, but if we do it too frequently, we'll stop getting any wins out of it.
I think we should just evaluate all the options and then like put them out and make a schedule and just be like, this month we're doing this month we're doing this, and then we can do multiple in a month if we have that. We should also not just like cram like 8 into the first 2 months and then just like
that's an arbitrary number that I threw out there. Like, I think it's not impossible to do 3 if they're all very small, but I also think this is not our main priority is fundraising. So yes.
Another thing we can look at is, I know the best fundraiser on campus in terms of working with the university is working parking lots for events. They pay, I believe, $25 an hour or $15 an hour to your org for each person who's doing parking lots. And you just get a fleet vehicle and you sit there and do whatever the hell you want and just make sure that everyone has a parking pass. So we could probably reach out to UW Athletics about that.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, the football games are most lucrative, but the RTC units have already locked those down. But they do have other events that they might be willing to let us do.
If this just popped into my head, because game parking, if you have a parking lot, you can sell it for the game, and you can make a lot of money. I'm looking at
in parking lots.
Let's just start buying property. I think that's our. Just get
One thing I'm thinking about too right now, going back a little bit to how many fundraisers we're doing, we're probably we still think we should consider is that we're going to be a lot busier in the spring than we'll be in the fall. So we should probably try to do a little bit more in the fall and then kind of a little bit of a lighter schedule in the spring. So we're just focus more on the car.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And it's going to be more realistic. Or it's also going to be good to have like our new cars out there too.
It's good to have money when you're buying shit.
Yeah.
New running cars to show up and be mint.
Okay. I think we've covered everything. I think everyone has a good idea. I think Cassie and Rachel, you guys know kind of where to go with this. I will say for some closing notes here, something that I'm going to send out a message to everyone here as well. We have our leader escape room thing that we're doing, but also happening on the same day is eBash. So eBash, I had originally anticipated that it was going to be later in the year, but it is on September 6th, which is the day before school starts, I think. And it's at 4:15 p.m. So I'm going to send out a message and announcements, but since everyone that's going to this escape room, I kind of just assume that all of you guys can attend the eBash before, and then we'll go as a team to the escape room. And I've already talked to Alex about this. We've kind of scheduled it so that we can go straight from eBash to the escape room. So at first I thought that it was going to conflict, but we've worked it out. But I want to let you guys all know kind of the plan with that. So plan on. What's up?
I was just gonna say, like, better than that, you guys are all leads. Like, you gotta be at eBash. Like, just gotta be there. It's the main recruiting event of the year.
Yeah,
for sure.
Speaking of just like that event and all these other things and having a schedule, it would be really cool if we had a calendar where we put all of these events and like where we're expected to be at. My experience on the team has been like, okay, now this week we're doing this, and sometimes that's a little bit rough because it's like, well, I was already planning on doing this, and so it would be cool to have a like team schedule, and then we could even, and that's something we can share with new members, and we can even then put our like different shop days, or if we want to have special types of shop days, we're doing carbon layup, we can put that in the schedule in advance and have like an actual calendar.
I think Monday has a calendar feature. I think we could just do a separate event calendar on Monday.
Jesus,
So what were you saying? I missed that for a second. Were you saying that we should do like have a calendar with events and also include like meeting times and shop days and shit like that?
Yeah.
I mean, we could.
So like you could just see when formula things are happening across the board.
Yeah, I agree that'd be good. Because there were a few times last year where I accidentally like had a conflict with another sub team meeting. So it'd be good to be able to see kind of all of that.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Do a Google Calendar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we could do it on Monday, it would be nice to have everything in one place. We can set up a Google Calendar if that works better for people. But yeah.
I just want to throw out there, we have like the social media channel and stuff too, but for all leaders, if you guys have an event that you want, like something you're working on in the car and you want pictures or video, like reach out in social media or to me so that way we can get more content. More sub teams because I mostly had Arrow last time, which was good, but also to get some of the other sub teams in there as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna push that. So it is not Cassie and Rachel's job to reach out to you guys about when things are happening that need to be videotaped. Everyone in this call and who's going to be watching this later or something, it's your job to reach out to them to Trey, you want to mute your mic? It's your job to reach out to them when things are happening. Recognize that something that interesting is going to happen, or even if it might not happen. Like, we always have a limbo of whether we got progress in a day or not. But reach out to Cassie and Rachel. They're available. They have members. And let's get as much footage as possible.
And just take footage yourself sometimes, too.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay, two random things that I came up that in my mind that is super relevant to this. Number one, for those like postings, I don't know where we want to like track this either. Monday is probably best, but like setting up a schedule so we can like have consistent posting and like plan posts in advance, and people can like if like a sub team or whatever lead wants to like read over because it's about routine, we should execute on that too. And then just this is just a random thought, but does anyone else get those emails that are like, come join this student org, and it's just like a blast email to all list emails? Like we could send one of those out. It works through Win somehow. I don't actually know.
So when I signed our teams up for as like engineering organizations, we get 2 emails per semester that we can blast to everyone.
Is that per team?
That's per team. Oh, no. What it is, we get 1 email per semester, but we have 2 teams, so we got 2 emails per semester.
Cool.
Yeah.
We should work to send that out, maybe in conjunction, like prior to eBash, to come see eBash maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I think it should we should not limit them to like, this is an eCar email, this is CCAR. We can take advantage of having 2 and have them be completely separate things that we want to send out.
I have an idea for a quick idea for like a fundraiser. Would it be worth like early in the semester doing a like planning an alley drive where we can like go on social media and say anyone who wants to come see it, it's like $5. You can stand as far away and watch the car drive or something like that.
$5.
Charge people for it.
Charging people to
Well, but like a couple dollars or not, but like.
I think
Just-
the best thing would be in May if we have both cars running. We could have a race. Would be really cool.
That would be cool.
I think that is where we could charge people to watch the cars. But until that's the case, I don't think we can really. I don't know. I
But
don't.
I guess we
think
could do
can
that
make
in the
money
fall.
off
We could put both cars running at the same time.
That sounds like a logistical
but
nightmare.
we
but
can
it'd
do
be
it.
sick.
Do we like?
We'd have to get people to the track. Like it'd be a mess.
Or could we get permission to block off Engineering Drive for like 20 minutes?
You do not want to go down Engineering Drive.
The speed bump in the middle.
Those fucking bricks are gonna just absolutely murder the car.
Just crank right ahead until the turnbuckles fail like the other day, right?
Just go down and bask them.
All right, so we got anything else there, folks?
Anyway,
so before we get too far off of from, is your mic picking up?
Yeah.
We're not blue. Okay. I've had a handful of people like DM me on Reddit asking for info on the team, just from like random comments I've made
Other
about
teams
stuff.
or
No, like about Wisconsin Racing.
Oh, okay.
And like joining the team. And I just tell them to like come to eBash and talk to us. But it might be worth making a post on there as well for recruiting
Yeah.
on Reddit.
on Reddit. Sure.
On the
Yeah.
UW Madison.
also like our Instagram and stuff too. Like, you can look at other FSA teams like Cornell. It's like posting a whole bunch right now about like recruiting and shit.
Yeah,
Oh, we can also-
we had about recruiting on our Instagram, and we were gonna make some posters to put up in like engineering hall, ECP.
Yeah, make some fat posters. I looked it up. There's no, as long as they fit on those boards, there's no limit to how big you can make your posters.
We can also have like someone. We can also try to have someone join the new freshman like Facebook page and just make a post there. Those get like tons of posts and people have lots and lots of visibility.
That's true. Yeah, I think the consensus here is Cassie and Rachel, you and your business team have your hands full. I think starting now, basically, just start sending out recruiting stuff. It doesn't, like, I have full faith in you guys. You don't need to vet anything through us. Just start sending out stuff, make it look pretty, make us look good.
I mean, it doesn't take much work to make me look good.
Just put Christian's picture just really big.
We want you.
Yeah, please. We want people to join.
All right.
Yeah, I think if no one else has any other comments, I think that's a pretty good stopping point here. If you guys keep an eye out for Instagram messages, if you receive one, share it to your story. I know I'm actually going to ask people who are more technologically inclined here. I've noticed some of our stories we can't share and some we can. Does anyone know why that is on Instagram? Okay, if no one knows why, I guess Cassie, Rachel, I don't know, look into it. If like it's a story that we can't reshare, I think all our leads, and encourage your members to reshare Wisconsin racing stories so that social media effect spread. Yeah. That's all, folks. Yeah, good meeting.